Does education really improve your chances of becoming wealthy? Dumela Mzansi. Welcome to yet another episode of Career Biz Mzansi, a platform where we talk everything careers, entrepreneurship, and overall self-development. I'm your host, Rebotile. I'm just an engineer that's curious enough in turning corporate experiences into conversations about career growth and business leadership. So today's topic is, does education really increase your chances of becoming wealthy? If you want to stop watching now, the answer is yes. So, in this particular episode, I just want to look and justify my stance. I am pro education. I am a believer in education. I believe I am also testament to what education can do for people and how education can change lives. I am all the way through pro education in all its form. Certification here and there, apprenticeship, learnership, degree, postgrad, everything education. I am for it. So, for starters, education doesn't guarantee you wealth. It just capacitates you with the skills and resources so that you stand a better chance of attaining wealth. So just to get that out of the way, it is not a guarantee for wealth, but it allows you and gives you better chances of attaining wealth. This episode is backed up by a bit of data, so I'll be diving a bit in that in the simplest ways possible, obviously, as per standard procedure. So what exactly does education guarantee you if it doesn't guarantee you wealth? Well, with education, you are guaranteed knowledge. That's for sure. It is thereafter up to you what you do with that knowledge. So, a research done by CNBC as well as the Federal Research has found that households that are led by parents or elders that have higher or tertiary education usually tend to produce kids or children who go on to be better at attaining wealth. So, for example, a household that is led by people or someone who has a postgraduate degree tends to have or produce a combination or combined net worth that is higher than households that are led by people who do not have postgraduate studies. Just to be clear, this doesn't mean every graduate becomes rich or is going to be rich, but rather it simply says on average, a household that has graduates has a number of people who are in a better chance or at a better chance of getting and attaining wealth. It doesn't automatically mean a household with graduates automatically becomes rich. We are all aware there are some degrees, unfortunately, that do not necessarily put you at a higher chance of attaining wealth per se, but they are able to enable you at the very least to earn a living, a better living at that. So, education, in particular, post high school education, it doesn't magically create money. Instead, it promotes you to getting money. How it does that, it is through connections that you make at university, connections that you make in workplaces, research, the capabilities of being able to do research from the skills you learned in at the institution of higher learning, as well as general opportunities that will make you earn more money over time. That is what education does. It doesn't automatically create money. You still need to have the willingness to upgrade your life, to be intentional about your life and the things you want in your life. Another important thing to note is education alone, the reason why it will not make you rich or wealthier is that you still need to fix your habits. If you earn more but you do not have good money handling habits, you are an overspender, you do not invest, etc., your chances of becoming wealthier escape you. You are as good as the person who did not further their education. That's the part where I say education capacitates you with the resources. One of the resources that education can capacitate you with is financial literacy. Of course, even if you don't further your studies, there are some people who are intentional enough that they are self-taught financial wizards and everything like that. It's just that it might not come naturally for you to teach you about financial literacy, how to save and everything else. And sometimes it might take you longer to do that research since you are not capacitated enough in terms of research, as opposed to someone who's been to tertiary and was trained on how to research and verify opportunities, verify ways of making money, and all of those things. To those that know me, they'll know that my favorite phrase is to say, education is a tried and tested route out of poverty. What exactly do I mean like that? Let me contextualize it in South African terms. So, the South African unemployment rate, it is at an all-time high. But I just want to share these statistics among the different groups, from someone with just high school to someone with a degree, what the differences are. And once I share these statistics, you'll realize that they echo my sentiments that education is a tried and tested route out of poverty. So in South Africa, the youth unemployment rate for 2025 was sitting at 51.6. We can round it off to say 52%. And here is the breakdown. Those that have less than matric, that is less than grade 12, their employment rate is sitting at a whooping 51.6%. That is 52%. The unemployment rate for those who have matric, grade 12, high school diploma, in other words, in some context, it is sitting at 47.6. That is 48% unemployment rate. And those with other tertiary or other post-matric qualifications, such as learnership, traineeship, certifications, and all of that, their employment and artisans, their unemployment rate is sitting at 37.3. That is 37%. And then we go further. What exactly is the unemployment rate among degree graduates? It is sitting at 23.9. That is 24%. So looking at this, you can already tell that when you are a graduate, you stand a higher chance of being employed than somebody who doesn't have, for an example, even matric. The more you further your studies, the chances of you getting employment are higher as opposed to the person who doesn't even have like matric. And the reasoning is quite simple. Remember, workplaces similar like school, education, and everything, they work like a, I don't want to say a camp, but essentially you getting trained pretty much like at a camp or at the soldiers and all of those things. The reason why somebody who has higher education stands a chance of being hired than the person without a matric, it is because even if the job itself doesn't require qualifications, I would hire a graduate over somebody who does not even have matric or only has matric. And the reasoning is quite simple. Someone who has been through the higher institution of learning program has learned certain level of work ethic, certain level of discipline. Obviously, there are outliers here and there, but typically they've proven themselves as someone with characteristics that are trainable, who has a spirit that is teachable. So it is easier to work with someone who is teachable. That's why graduates will typically stand a higher chance of being employed. So, what exactly is the moral of these stats? Think of education as a leverage. Remember that professor you have on your phone, that friend that you have from a different province on your phone, that so and so who comes from a better family that you have on your phone. You wouldn't have met that person if it wasn't for tertiary or for going to a tertiary institution. And that is where the leverage comes in through connections, through knowledge, through resources, etc. Imagine if you had not gone to tertiary, you wouldn't know how AI can improve your way of applying for jobs, for an example. So all of that knowledge eventually capacitates you into a person that has a better chance of earning wealth. So what is the takeaway from this? Does education guarantee wealth? The answer is no. But does education increase your chances of becoming wealthy? The answer is yes. With this breakdown, please hit like, comment down below what your thoughts are. Let's engage. And of course, subscribe. This is Career Biz Mzansi, a platform where we talk everything careers, entrepreneurship, and overall self development. I'm your host, Rebotile, an engineer that is just curious enough to turn corporate experiences into conversations about career development, career growth, and overall business leadership. Until next time.